Okay, lesson 40, unit multipliers. We've been doing this since the beginning of Algebra 1, so there's not a lot of new things here. Maybe we're going to be doing cubic miles to cubic inches. Maybe that's a little bit new. But for those of you that didn't have Saxon for Algebra 1, this will be a good lesson, and for those who did have it, this is a good review. So the question says, use a unit multiplier to change 600 inches to feet. And you see it says a unit multiplier, so that just means one unit multiplier. And for those of you who might not know what a unit multiplier is, it's just like we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. This is an example of a unit multiplier. We usually write them, instead of writing that they're equal, we write it as a fraction. We'd say 12 inches over 1 foot, or we could write 1 foot over 12 inches, depending on which way we need to use it, which I'll explain in a minute. So we're going to change 600 inches into feet. Now it says use one unit multiplier, so we're just going to take it times, and it depends on how many they say. If they want one unit multiplier, we just make one fraction bar for our unit multiplier. If they say use 3 unit multipliers, we would do times and then 3 of these lines. So we want to go from inches to feet. So what we do in this blank, we go up and we pick, here's our inches to feet, we pick one of these 2 unit multipliers. They're the same thing, just reverse, because they're equal to 1. So it doesn't change the value of the 600. You can multiply anything by 1 and it doesn't change the value. So we want to go from inches to feet, so we want the one with inches on the bottom so that our inches can cross out and we're left with the feet. So when you're trying to pick between your 2 unit multipliers, you pick the one where you can cross this inch out with this inch. So we're going to pick the second one. So we'd have 1 foot equals 12 inches. So, as you have it, the inches will cross out, and the only unit we have left are feet, so we're going to just, 12 goes into 600 evenly, goes in 50 times, so you're just going to write 50 feet. And obviously that one was super duper easy. So let's go down to the next one. This one says use unit multipliers to convert 44 square feet to square inches. They don't tell you how many unit multipliers. I think in Algebra 1 they would say use 3 unit multipliers, use 2 unit multipliers. But this one just says use unit multipliers. So we just set up a problem. We write 54 square feet look like this. And we're trying to get the square inches. Hold on a second, my computer needs plugged in. Okay, all good. That's not the key word, by the way. So to go from square feet means we're going to have to cross out 2 feet so that we can go into inches. So we're going to need 2 feet on the bottom to cross out with the 2 feet that are up here. And again, it's the same thing. We have the inches. We're going to have 12 inches equals 1 foot. So you have to pick which one you're going to use, and see we need the feet down here to cross out, so we want the inches to be on top this time. So we'd have 12 inches over 1 foot, 12 inches over 1 foot, and that way the feet cross out and you're left with inches times inches would be square inches. So you could, they just leave it in the book like this. You can write it all out. You can use your calculator and just get an answer. I don't have that offhand. So it's going to be inches squared. So when it's squared, you're definitely going to need at least 2 unit multipliers, unless if you're just going from feet to inches. But sometimes it's like feet to centimeters, so you might need more than 2 unit multipliers. Let's try another one. All my problems disappeared. They're not on my page anymore. I'm not exactly sure where they went, so I'm just going to rewrite them. Okay, this one is use unit multipliers to convert 42 square yards to square inches. Okay, we're getting a little bit more complicated this time. So we have 42 square yards. We can guess how many we're going to need, so we'll just do one at a time. We have square yards, so we're going to definitely need a yard and a yard for starters. We're going from yards to inches, so we can use a unit multiplier that is, there's 36 inches in 1 yard. I mean, you can always go from the 12 inches in 1 yard, and then 3 yards in this should have been feet. And then 3 feet in 1 yard, but you can just use this one. Seems like the faster way to go. If you want to look at how you do it the other way, you can look in the book. So we have 1 yard is 36 inches. See how we put the yard on the bottom so it crosses out with these 2 yards? 36 inches. And this would be 36 inches. And the yards cross out. And for our final answer, we get 42 times 36 times 36 inches squared. Okay, let's look at one more. Try to keep this fast for you. This one is use unit multipliers to convert 16 cubic miles, that's what it looks like, to cubic inches. Oops, inches cubed. So here we go. So we have our 16 miles cubed, and we're going to need, to get rid of it, we're going to need 3 miles. 3 fractions with miles in the bottom. We are going into inches. And so we're going to go from miles to feet to inches. And one of the facts you need to memorize is there are 5,280 feet in a mile. That's our first unit conversion, unit multiplier. So here we go. So we need 5,280 feet, 5,280 feet, 5,280 feet. Squeezing that in. Now we need to go. Now all these miles will cross out. Now we need to cross out our 3 feet. I'm going to have to erase that. That's in the way over here. 1 second. So let's just erase this. And we'll go back to our pencil now. So now we're going from feet to inches. So we need 3 of these again. The feet are on the top, so we're going to have to cross those out with the feet on the bottom. And that we know there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So all the feet, this foot will cross out with this one, etc., etc., etc. And we're going to end up with 16 times 5,280. Instead of writing this out 3 times, you can just write cubed. And then it's going to be 3 12s, so it'll be 12 cubed, and then it's going to be inches cubed. Inches times inches times inches is inches cubed. Another way you could have done this is you could have said 16 miles cubed, and then you could have done 5,280 feet over mile cubed. That's perfectly legal. Times 12 inches over feet cubed. If you can keep that all in your head, that works just as well. Okay, well, I don't really have anything interesting to say, but Mr. D might listen to music so that he doesn't interrupt me. Okay, that's it for lesson 41. That was a pretty easy one.